Why do you feel watched? Have you ever felt someone's eyes on you when you're all alone, like you're never truly by yourself? Psychologists and neuroscientists have been fascinated by this eerie sensation for years, but Carl Jung, one of modern psychology's greatest thinkers, offers an especially thought-provoking explanation. In today's video, we'll explore the science, psychology, and even supernatural beliefs behind why we sometimes feel an unseen gaze, and how Jung's ideas about our unconscious mind might hold the key to understanding it all. 1. The science behind feeling watched. 1.1. A brain wired for survival. From an evolutionary perspective, our brains are primed to notice any hint of a watchful gaze. In prehistoric times, overlooking the stare of a predator lurking in the shadows could be fatal. As a result, those who were more sensitive to being observed had a better chance of survival. This keen vigilance became embedded in our neural wiring and remains active to this day. Two critical parts of the brain help us detect when someone or something might be watching. Superior colliculus. This region in the midbrain detects motion and gaze direction, often working faster than our conscious awareness can keep up. Think of it as an internal radar that scans your surroundings for potential threats. Amygdala. Known as the emotional center of the brain, the amygdala evaluates threats and is closely linked to fear responses. If the superior colliculus signals heads up, you might be watched, the amygdala decides whether you should feel alarmed, leading to the rapid heartbeat or rush of adrenaline you might experience. 1.2. The subconscious power of peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision is surprisingly sensitive to human faces and eyes. Even a quick glimpse of something eye-shaped or vaguely face-like can alert these neural systems, triggering a check your surroundings response. This is why you might spin around to look behind you or catch yourself glancing into corners. Your subconscious survival instincts kick in before you consciously decide to investigate. 2. Visual illusions and the mind's tricks. 2.1 Pareidolia, seeing faces everywhere. A common phenomenon known as pareidolia might explain why we sometimes perceive watchers that aren't really there. Pareidolia is our tendency to see meaningful patterns, especially faces, in random or ambiguous stimuli. For instance, spotting a face in the swirling shapes of the clouds, mistaking a shadow in a dark hallway for a person. Reading expressions into a pattern on the wall or a tree trunk. This tendency helped our ancestors swiftly identify whether an approaching creature was friend or foe, but it can also create false alarms when our brains overinterpret certain shapes or shadows. 2.2. The brain hates uncertainty. Our minds strive to form coherent stories from incomplete information. If you walk into a dimly lit room and see a silhouette that could be a person, your brain will err on the side of caution. Better safe than sorry, from an evolutionary standpoint. This mechanism helps explain why some of us jump at fleeting shapes or sounds late at night. We'd rather be momentarily spooked than miss a real threat. 3. Carl Jung and the shadow within. 3.1 The unconscious mind and the shadow. Carl Gustav Jung, a monumental figure in analytical psychology, proposed that each person carries a shadow, an unseen realm of the psyche, harboring our suppressed or unacknowledged feelings, instincts, and memories. According to Jung, These hidden aspects can surface in unexpected ways, influencing our moods, behaviors, and even our perceptions. When you suddenly feel scrutinized with no apparent observer, Jung's theory suggests you might be encountering your own repressed emotions or insecurities. Rather than an external set of eyes, it could be an internal judgment emerging from deep within your unconscious. In essence, you might be seeing the part of yourself you usually keep hidden. 3.2. The shadow in myths and archetypes. Jung was fascinated by archetypes, universal symbols and themes appearing in myths, fairy tales, and religious stories worldwide. Tales of ghosts, monsters, or watching spirits could be external representations of our internal shadows. The boogeyman lurking under the bed might symbolize anxieties we haven't faced. A watchful spirit in the corner might reflect guilt or fear hovering in the back of our minds. Jung encouraged self-exploration to understand the shadow's role in our lives. By acknowledging and integrating the repressed parts of ourselves, we can often mitigate that unnerving sense of being silently judged, whether by an invisible onlooker or by our own psyche. Four, the collective unconscious and archetypal watchers. 4.1, a shared psychological blueprint. Building on his shadow concept, Jung also introduced the idea of a collective unconscious, a reservoir of shared human experiences and archetypes that transcend individual cultures. Within it, certain motifs and figures appear again and again in stories and beliefs across the globe. One such motif is the Watcher, an entity that observes human actions, whether benevolently or malevolently. Throughout history, numerous cultures have depicted powerful watchers. The Egyptian Eye of Horus, symbolizing protection and awareness. The Christian notion of an all-seeing God. Indigenous traditions where ancestors or spirits watch over the living. These recurring symbols hint at a deep-seated human awareness that our actions and thoughts are not entirely private, whether due to literal higher powers or our own psychological processes. 4.2, spiritual echoes in modern life. Even in the modern world, these archetypal watchers manifest in various forms. Some people describe feeling a spiritual guardian's presence during crises, while others worry about a malevolent force or evil eye that brings misfortune. Whether you interpret this as genuine spiritual energy or a reflection of our shared unconscious beliefs, it underscores just how potent and universal the Watcher archetype is. Five, the supernatural angle, spirits and beyond. 5.1, cultural beliefs in invisible watchers. Outside of scientific and psychological explanations, many global traditions firmly maintain that spiritual entities or departed souls can observe the living. Some examples include guardian angels in Judeo-Christian and Islamic traditions, believed to protect and guide individuals. Ancestors in many African and Asian cultures, said to watch over their descendants, to bestow blessings or warnings. Ghosts or spirits found in countless folklore stories, sometimes benevolent, sometimes malevolent, but almost always watchful. For those who hold these beliefs, feeling watched in an empty room might be a visitation from a loved one who has passed on, a spirit guide offering reassurance, or an entity with unclear intentions. 5.2, paranormal investigations. The popularity of ghost hunting shows and paranormal research has skyrocketed in recent years. Investigators use devices like EMF meters, thermal cameras, and voice recorders to detect anomalies in supposedly haunted locations. While skeptics point out that many of these findings can be explained through natural phenomena or psychological suggestion, believers insist that such evidence reveals genuine supernatural activity. Regardless of where you stand on the paranormal spectrum, the enduring fascination with unseen watchers speaks to a collective curiosity or apprehension about what might exist just beyond our everyday perceptions. Six, modern pressures. Are we watched more than ever? 6.1 Digital surveillance and social media. In the 21st century, a new form of constant observation has emerged: digital surveillance. Security cameras track our movements in public spaces, corporations gather our data online, and social media shares our personal milestones with wide audiences. This modern panopticon can create or intensify the feeling of always being under scrutiny. Interestingly, knowing we're actually being observed by people, companies, or algorithms can heighten our sensitivity to the more primal sensation of an unseen gaze. When your phone pings or a camera lens points in your direction, it's easy to feel as though unseen eyes are always upon you, even in moments when you prefer solitude. 6.2 Psychological impact of constant exposure. Being perpetually under a spotlight, real or imagined, can lead to stress, anxiety, and self-consciousness. We might become overly critical of our own behavior, second-guess our choices, or worry that strangers online or offline are judging us. In some cases, this can blend with the classical fear of being watched in empty spaces, compounding a sense of vulnerability. 7. Practical tips. Facing the feeling. 7.1 Grounding and mindfulness. If you often feel an unsettling sense of being observed, simple grounding exercises can help. Focus on your breathing for a moment, or center your attention on the present by noticing small details in your environment, the texture of a chair, the hum of a fan. This mindful approach can break the anxiety loop and remind you that you're safe in this moment. 7.2 Exploring your inner world. Consider keeping a journal to track when these eerie sensations strike. Are there patterns, certain times of day, specific emotional states, or stressful periods in your life? Identifying triggers can reveal whether the feeling arises from anxiety, guilt, or unresolved personal conflicts. Therapy or self-reflection, especially in a Jungian framework, might help you confront buried fears in your shadow, reducing the likelihood that they manifest as an external watcher. 7.3 Rituals and cultural practices. If you lean towards spiritual or cultural interpretations, practices like prayer, meditation, or protective rituals may bring comfort. Many cultures use cleansing ceremonies, burning sage, lighting incense, or reciting mantras to dispel negative energy or unseen forces. Regardless of the literal effects, the act of intentionally addressing your fears can help you regain a sense of control, easing the tension that fuels the watched sensation. 8. Conclusion. The many faces of an unseen gaze. So why do we sometimes feel like eyes are following us when no one is there? Scientifically, our brains are finely tuned to detect the slightest hint of a gaze. an adaptation from our distant past. Psychologically, Carl Jung's theory of the shadow suggests we might be grappling with our own hidden emotions. Spiritually, numerous cultures believe in invisible watchers, spirits, ancestors, or other worldly guardians. Ultimately, these perspectives need not be mutually exclusive. The richness of human experience allows for different interpretations, all adding layers to this primal sensation that seems to transcend time and culture. If you found this exploration eye-opening, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll continue diving into the fascinating intersections of science, psychology, and spirituality, shedding light on the deepest mysteries of our minds and the world around us. Don't forget to comment below with your own experiences or theories. Are you convinced it's all in our heads? Or do you suspect there's more than meets the eye? There's so much more to uncover. Stay curious, and we'll see you next time.